What's going on YouTube? Apex36 again, back in with another video, and today's video is going to be a newest installment in our disaster series. This is going to be a disaster that honestly I've never heard of, but it's kind of crazy because this ride is featured like 20 minutes from where I live now. Like it's at a park not that far from where I live now. So I was like, wait, what? Like, is this the same ride? And I looked just to preview and see if it's the same ride, literally. Oh, I mean, hey, let's get right into it. But if you enjoy this video, please leave a like. Let me know down in the comments what I should react to next. And also, if you're new, subscribe. Oh yeah, I didn't even get to say, this is the Xcelerator disaster.
In September of 2009, a day out at Knott's Berry Farm for the Wheeler family turned into a harrowing nightmare when 12-year-old Kyle and his father Russell boarded the Xcelerator roller coaster. The ride, which had opened in 2002, was a fan favourite in the park, and due
I've
to its
literally
unique
ridden this.
hydraulic design, could
Like,
go
what?
from 0 to 82 miles per hour in a matter of seconds. However, 4 seconds after the train left the station, a gruesome incident occurred as one of the launch cables snapped and whipped towards Kyle.
Wait, what?
The whole thing was caught on camera, but what exactly happened that day and what caused the cable to snap? Let's talk about it.
Did you see that? The kid just put his head down.
Xcelerator disaster, the fate of Kyle Wheeler.
Okay, first off, this hits home, like, this hits, like, so close to me because I literally live so close to Knott's Berry Farm. Like, I'm not trying to dox where I live, but it's like, bro, this is not that far from me at all. So to see that, like, someone went on that same ride that I went on as a kid and they had this experience, I mean, it just blows my mind.
In December of 2001, Knott's Berry Farm, located in Buena Park, California, announced its highly anticipated replacement for the Windjammer Surf Racers roller coaster. This would be the Xcelerator, and with Intamin at the helm and $13 million to spend, there was no way it could disappoint, and it certainly didn't. As described on the Knott's Berry Farm website, rocket from 0 to 82 miles per hour in 2.3 seconds as you fly 205 feet into the air, before immediately hurtling 90 degrees straight down on Xcelerator the Ride roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm. Xcelerator was unique to the park and to Intamin, as it was their first hydraulically launched roller coaster.
Oh, wow.
A hydraulically launched roller coaster is an amusement ride that uses hydraulic fluid pressure to rapidly accelerate the train from a standstill to high speeds within seconds. 7 months after it was announced, Xcelerator opened to the public on June the 22nd, 2002. The track length was 2,202 feet, and the duration of the ride would last 1 minute and 2 seconds. The ride was inspired by the greasers culture of the 1950s, and as stated on their website, from the minute you enter the station, you're transported back to the time of greasers, beatniks, and cubes. The safety restraint.
I get it. You're saying like, oh, this is going to take you back to that time period just because of the way that the car looks. Like, I get it now.
Include a hydraulically operated T-bar lap bar restraint and a seatbelt, which are checked by operators before the train is released. There are 2 trains and 5 cars, and 20 people can ride at any given time, and before the incident in 2009, the safety record on the Xcelerator was good. They did have one incident in 2004 where the ride was briefly shut down due to deaths on other rides, prompting officials to step in and refurbish the potentially defective T-bar restraint system, but it opened a few months later and continued to be a fan favourite in the park for many years to come. Rarely, a train may not gain enough speed to clear the 205-foot climb, causing it to stall and roll back onto the launch track where magnetic brakes stop it. The ride is designed for this, and it can be caused by weather, weight, or overheating. This will come of importance later on in the video. On the 16th of September 2009, 12-year-old Kyle Wheeler, along with his father Russell and mother Anita Wheeler, visited Knott's Berry Park for a day out. Knott's Berry Farm, located in California, started as a berry farm in the 1920s and evolved into America's first theme park. They were visiting from Weaverville, which is located in Buncombe County, North Carolina. The family spent the day at the park enjoying the various rides it had to offer, and at approximately 4 PM, Kyle and his father Russell boarded the Xcelerator. The two sat in the front row, whilst Anita watched from the sidelines. Now remember, this was a hydraulically launched roller coaster, so when it set off fast. 4 seconds after the train left the station, one of the launch cables snapped. Once it snapped, it viciously whipped out towards Kyle Wheeler and his dad, splitting the car in half. Metal debris along with the cable flew towards Kyle, slashing his calf at 80 miles per hour. Anita, who was watching on in horror, said, I literally thought that I had just watched my son and husband die in front of my eyes. Kyle was now screaming in pain, as his dad was yelling
Oh my
frantically for ride
God.
operators to stop the ride. In a recorded video of the incident, you can see the moment Kyle's face turns from excitement to pure fear,
What?
yet remarkably, he keeps his composure. As one of the launch cables snapped, the ride did not gain enough momentum to clear the 205-foot drop, causing it to roll back, and once it did, the ride operator realized something was wrong and stopped the ride. After the ride was stopped, his father ran to get help and emergency services were called. Kyle was
Oh
transported to
shit.
hospital and was
Did you
seriously
see his
injured. Another man
face?
on the roller coaster was also transported
It
to
looked like
hospital
there
after
was like a
complaining
knot
of
on
back
his
pain.
head.
The ride was immediately shut down and an investigation was launched. After the incident, Knott's Berry Farm released a statement saying, "The cable on the Xcelerator ride is changed regularly. It was last changed in December 2008 and is good for 1 year. It was not due to be changed until December." They maintain that regular maintenance was done and also went on to say, "More than 10 million people have ridden the Xcelerator at Knott's Berry Farm over the past 8 years, and this is the first time something like this has happened." However, investigators found this to be false. It came to light that in 2004, a launch cable snapped on a similar ride known as the Top Thrill Dragster, which injured 4 people.
Oh
Meanwhile,
shit.
experts from the California Division of Occupational Safety and Health were brought in to examine the ride. It would take them 6 months to conclude their investigation. Ultimately, they found that the incident could have been
What?
completely prevented if the cables were maintained properly. They blamed the theme park and the ride manufacturer Intamin. The investigators claimed the maintenance instructions were too confusing and they couldn't determine if the ride needed to be inspected every month or every 6 months. It turns out it was every month. Knott's Berry Farm inspected the ride every 6 months. However, even though Knott's Berry Farm believed the inspections were to take place every 6 months, they were still 19 days late by the time the incident happened, meaning 19 days before Kyle and his father got onto the
Oh.
ride, the cable should have been inspected and changed. The park released a statement saying, "The investigation identified shortcomings in the manufacturer's instructions regarding the inspection and maintenance of the cable."
Dude, that's the shitty part about this is every time Knott's Berry Farm is gonna make a statement, they're just not gonna take any sort of responsibility at all. And it's like, we already know someone should have checked that cable before. It wasn't just the instructions. Yes, it was instructions, but it's like also someone should have checked that. I mean, come on, man. Like that's a no-brainer. Like it's just crazy to think like, wow, these companies, I understand why they make statements like this because they have to save face, but it's just like, man, so shady.
The state agency had required Knott's Berry Farm to put in place additional safeguards to determine cable viability and to work with the manufacturer to revise maintenance instructions. The report also indicated that the broken cable showed severe fatigue and discovered that the impact of the accident sheared off 18 out of the 20 magnets located on the bottom of the coaster cars used for launching and braking. Whilst this investigation was going on, it was clear to all that the Wheeler family's lives would change forever. Kyle remained in hospital for months, undergoing multiple surgeries to repair the
What?
damage done. He had skin grafts and underwent months of physiotherapy, and thankfully, he regained function in his knee and ankle. His
Oh
mother
my
said,
God.
"This whole experience has been terribly hard on my whole family.
What the
I am
fuck?
overwhelmed with emotion most days." She went on to say, "I can't talk about it without crying. It was horrible."
Damn, that's fucked
During his
up.
time in hospital, the Wheeler family received bills of up to $60,000, but thankfully they reached an undisclosed settlement with the park to cover this, as well as the emotional distress caused. Kyle went on to make a full recovery, and the Xcelerator would go on to reopen in 2010
That's
and
horrible,
remains
dude. What the
open
fuck?
to this day. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen this channel, this is Dizaster-thon. Honestly, go sub to him for sure. Dizaster-a-thon. Man, I mean, just thinking about that is crazy because it's like, dude, it was a 12-year-old kid and he didn't regain the ability to move his leg and arm for 6 months. Like, damn, that's a pretty bad accident. And like, that's like most car crashes are not, that crazy. Where you can't use it for 6 months. I mean, oh man, that's horrific. And I honestly understand like that the family probably went through it too, man. Because that's their son, and then now they have to like kind help and nurse their son back to health, with also going through the stress of just having their son in that scenario in the first place. You know, like I just couldn't even imagine. I don't have any kids, but I just couldn't even imagine. Like, how would you feel about that? But man, that was a crazy one, and I never really heard about this. Like when I saw this, I was like, wait, is that the same roller coaster that's like up the road? And then I'm like, wait, that it? Like I was like, wow, dude, I've actually rode that before. Like that's such a trip, man. That is such a trip. It's just such a trip thinking about it now, because it's like, yeah, this hits close to home. But YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, this is gonna be the next installment in our series where we cover all disasters, all tragedies. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know down in the comments what I should react to next. And then yeah, like this video if you enjoyed it at any point. Xcelerator out.